Hello and welcome to Pro Trader Strategies Market Commentary for Monday, June the 18th. My name is Eric Wilkinson. Some of you may recognize me as the Wolfman from CNBC, Fox Business, or even the Wall Street Journal for my commentary on everything from economic to geopolitical and market analysis. Please keep in mind that everything that we talk about in these market commentaries is not a solicitation to buy or sell any of these securities or strategies. At the end of the day, I'm here to teach you some different strategies you can implement in your portfolios, but please do that in your own way. The reason why I can't give you a recommendation on a particular stock or strategy is because I don't know your risk parameters. I don't know what's in your portfolios, and therefore what I'm doing could be counterintuitive to what you are already doing. And please remember that past performance of any trading system or methodology is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, having that out of the way, let's get it on with economic data. Across the pond, not really a whole lot to talk about other than later today, ECB President Mario Draghi starts speaking. And then here in the United States, we had the National Association of Home Builders Index came in at 68, expected to be 70, so anything above 50. And that index is expansion, so it's still pretty good despite the fact that we did miss on that number. And then we have Bostic speaking again today from our FOMC a little bit later after Draghi. All right, on to the overall markets. We've got crude oil moving higher today after it came down. I thought it was going to come down to the point of control, maybe settled down a little bit there, but we bounced up and away rather quickly near the highs of the day right now, but nothing really to note. It's pretty quiet volume and not a whole lot of information coming out before Wednesday's crude oil inventory number, but right now we are seeing a little bit of a move higher. Could be flight to safety with the rest of the equities in negative territory. Gold futures slightly higher today after bouncing off that 61 Fibonacci level on Friday. We bounced up and away from that. You know, anything below that would have been pretty bearish, but the bulls came out late in the day and got that settlement that they needed. Today, toggling back and forth right there on that Fibonacci. It's going to act as support. We're also going to have a little bit of draw to pull up towards that point of control. If the bears just don't come out and really try to push hard today, I think we're going to kind of melt up towards that level there of around 1,300, just slightly shy of that 1,278 or 1,298. I'm sorry, but I think that any lack of effort on the bears side to push that below that 61, we're going to kind of slowly melt up on there. Then we've got the Bitcoin futures off by about 100 points. You know, I keep talking about that. I think it needs to come down, test this 58.80 and really find support there in order for it to be a valid number. Came down and kissed it once, but I think it really needs to test it in order for it to be a valid number. Bonds in negative territory, but unchanged for the most part. Probably just waiting to see what's going to happen with the overall equities. We can see the VIX starting to move slightly higher today, trying to get up into the teens, not quite seeing that as of right now. Did touch up in there early this morning when the Dow was down about 100 points lower than where we are now. As you can see, the Dow Jones Industrial Average down about 170 points. It was down about 180, 170 at one point today when it came down and tested this 23 Fibonacci level, which lines up with the point of control. That's a major magnet that's going to maybe not act as much as a support and resistance, but one of those where we've seen them just kind of bouncing back and forth along that line there because it lines up with the point of control where the most time and volume has been spent. That's going to be a comfort zone. So I don't know that that level is going to be effective as a support and resistance as much as we would like to see it. The NASDAQ still can't get back up into that trend channel and settle there. I mean, we did do it once on, what was that, Thursday, but Friday's market action settled back outside of that range. Today hasn't even been able to really test that. We have tested the 50 Fibonacci extension and the regular Fibonacci that coincided with the March highs, if you will. I've left that in there because I think that now that we've gotten above there, it's going to act as a support and resistance, especially because it lines up with the Fibonacci extension. So that being said, that is going to be a major support level for the bulls to kind of hold on to. E-mini S&P is off also on the day by about 10 points, let's call it. But as you can see, well off the lows of the day. But this is really starting to look like it wants to kind of roll over to me and come down and at least test that 61 Fibonacci level. Let's look at the daily chart of the E-mini S&Ps. This is 30-minute candles. Overnight inventory getting short, but today coming into the day session, pushed those guys out of those short positions near the highs of the day, but just not a whole lot of volume going on. As a matter of fact, as a Monday would go in the summer, we're just starting to see those lethargic markets come into action. All right, let's talk about a few things that I've done with DVN Energy. With this sell-off, I think it's still looking pretty bearish, despite the fact that we're getting a push higher today. I think that we're going to see this kind of roll over. I think it's another part of that whole flight to safety with the energy sector. DVN Energy is in the energy sector, so they're kind of benefiting for that today. But I wanted to play this a little bit to the downside with this pop in action. So I went into the July and sold the 45 calls in there for 50 cents. So I only did that in my margin account, trying to add a couple of things, keeping close watch on several other things, but that's the one that I've added today. I haven't taken anything off, but keeping an eye on Procter & Gamble. You know, it's been in a thorn in my side. I've had on the July 77.5 calls in there. I'm right back to a scratch or very close to it in that, despite the fact that we've gotten the rally. That theta decays helped me. I haven't had a whole lot of volatility coming out of this trade, but the theta coming out of that is helping me, plus getting a little bit of directionality my way today, so that's helping out. Back to about unchanged on that, but I've been keeping a real close eye on that one. And then Disney, we talked about this. I've played this as it was going up there and testing my probabilities. The probabilities of the trade are twice as great as the probability of the delta, or of being tested, I should say. So I think I went up there, got tested on that. So those probabilities are in order. We're starting to fall down and away. Hopefully we can get a little bit more retracement out of Disney, and I will be off to the races. So it's starting to get that bit of a pullback in Disney, which is what I'm looking for. But those are the two that I'm really keeping an eye on that are still in my account. Let IBM and what was the SPY butterflies fall off. Yesterday I took those, I didn't let them fall off. I took them off late in the day for a loss. So that's about it for everything that I've done in the last couple of days that you might have missed out on. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing a webinar with a group, actually that's on Wednesday, doing a webinar on basics of options and know when and where to buy strategies and when and where to sell them. So I'm going to go through some of those rules. So if you're newer to my classes, check this one out. It'll help get you caught up to speed for the daily market, or for the daily market commentaries. That's true. And the webinars that we're going to be doing. All right. So check those out at protraderstrategies.com. That's all I got for you. If you can't take that, take it easy.